Now, the opening pages of this book is very strange. And what I mean by that is we actually pick up with somebody narrating and telling us about their grandfather, how their grandfather used to love the ocean, how he wanted to be part of the ocean more than being on land. Now, of course, while this person is telling us this, we do see a set of people on a boat. Now, we do focus on one girl on the boat, but as the boat gets deeper and deeper into the ocean, the boat begins to sink and the girl begins to fall underneath the water. But of course, she continues to say that her grandfather used to love the ocean, but told her that the ocean is a very beautiful thing, but the ocean does hold a lot of different mysteries out there. No one knows what truly is out there in the middle of the ocean, but that is the moment we see a random black hole in the middle of the ocean. And it seems like this young girl and the people on the boat with her all just got sucked into the black hole. And now the question is, what in the world is going on? Now, we do pick up with a ship known as the Esperanza. That's the name for the ship. Now, this ship is actually not that important for the story. What really is important, what was inside the ship, which was the Andromeda, a smaller submarine that was just sent down into the bottom of the ocean to retrieve a certain item. Now, this item, we have no idea about the item at all. Matter of fact, as the story goes on, we are going to learn more about that item that the Esperanza and the Andromeda is trying to get from the bottom of the ocean. But either way, the Esperanza just sent in their submarine, which is the Andromeda, to go get that item from the bottom of the ocean. Now, we do pick up with the star of the book, and that would be Aquaman himself. Now, with that being said, this is a Aquaman who is different from the Aquaman we're used to. And the reason why I say that's because this book is a black label book, which means that it takes place in an alternate universe. So this is not our usual Aquaman. But either way though, we don't get the chance to learn much about this Aquaman in the first book of this storyline. And the reason why I say that is because we do pick up with Aquaman coming out of the ocean to talk to an elderly lady. Now, this elderly lady, we are left to believe she was the one who basically raised him. Now, this is not his mother. It could be someone who found him and decided to take care of him. And that is when she realized who he was, because he was called away to the ocean. Now, another thing I do want to mention, we get no idea if Atlantis is real in this universe. The only thing we're left to believe is that this Aquaman was called away to the ocean for some strange reason. But again, we have no idea if Atlantis is real. On top of that, the public does not know about this Aquaman at all. And you see why I say that as we go through the story. But the reason why he's here right now talking to this elderly lady is because he's worried about something. The ocean feels off. What I mean is a lot of weird things are happening when it comes to the ocean. Fishes are actually trying to be captured by fishermen, which is crazy to say. On top of that, apparently kids in the areas around the oceans are having nightmares. And so with that being said, is Aquaman telling this elderly lady something is happening in the ocean and he has no idea what. But of course, he has to just go back down there and hopefully find some clues to figure it out. Now, you do have this elderly lady tell Aquaman this will be their last time meeting because she is so old, she's gonna die soon, which means right after he leaves, most likely she is going to die. Now, we actually do pick up with that submarine that was sent into the ocean from the Esperanza ship. And of course, this submarine has a name, and it's called the Andromeda. Now, with that being said, there is a team on this ship, and their mission is to go into the bottom of the ocean to retrieve an item. Now, the reason why they're going to retrieve this item is because this item actually came from space and it crashed into the bottom of the ocean. Now, the reason why they're so worried about this item is because this item actually just came crashing down unharmed. And that is very rare, because usually when something comes crashing down onto the earth, it usually means there's going to be some kind of damage to the actual item. But of course, this item just crash land, and it seemed like it was able to survive whatever the earth has thrown at it. Now, of course, this team's goal is to get down there and get that item, but to also learn more about this item. And this is going to begin a lot of problems for this team, but for also other characters in this book. Now, of course, we have to have some kind of bad guy in this book, and that bad guy is going to be Black Manta, because usually when you have an Aquaman book and it takes place in an alternate universe, Black Manta is going to be most likely the bad guy of that book. But either way though, you have Black Manta being introduced to us in this book because you have a guy known as Mr. Pinto. And this guy clearly is some kind of businessman. But of course, he got word about the alien tech that crash land on Earth in the middle of the ocean. And so of course, he wants to hire the Black Manta to go out into the ocean to actually get that item. Now, he does tell Black Manta that there is a team already down there trying to find the item and trying to get the item. So of course, if you have to kill them to get that item, that is also okay. But the main goal for you is to get that item and bring it back here to us. Now, of course, Black Manta is kind of like, dude, I'll do it because one, I need money, and two, I'm a pirate. But that team that Mr. Pinto was talking about is the team who are right now in the Andromeda submarine. And so that means Black Manta could most likely kill those people to get that item from the bottom of the ocean. Now, we do pick up with the lady who was narrating earlier in the beginning of our video, and her name is Yvette. Now, Yvette is going to be very important for this book, which means that we are going to basically focus on her more than Aquaman and Black Manta. And the reason why, because she's on the submarine that's going down in the bottom of the ocean to get that item. But of course, she's very bothered by the reasons why they're down here, because the captain of this submarine basically told her that, listen, this is really a hush-hush job. Not a lot of people know about it. But of course, she's kind of like, there is some kind of alien technology down there, and that alien technology could possibly kill us or possibly help us make the Earth better. But on top of that, she realized there are different parts of this submarine that she has not seen yet. When they gave her a tour around the submarine, they kind of skipped over different parts. And one of the parts they skipped over was the engine room. And the reason why, because the engine is not your usual engine. It's very different. And for her, she's kind of like, this submarine is very advanced for Earth technology. But on top of that, the engine is very, very unique for itself. But things are about to get very worse for this team on this ship right now, because the alien technology is about to do a huge thing. Now, of course, the alien technology, what it did next, it began to send some kind of sound wave throughout the ocean. And this sound wave was basically used by the alien technology as a way to read the area around it, to see what is out there, any kind of living being around them at the moment. And of course, with that submarine being somewhat nearby the alien technology, that sound wave just basically told the alien technology, hey, there is some kind of machine being coming towards me right now. And of course, there are people on that submarine. Now, with them being scanned by the alien technology, their computer systems go crazy, because now they're getting word that they were just scanned by that alien technology. and they want to know what in the world are they supposed to do now, because at first they were wondering if the alien technology was alive or could just be some kind of tech that just crashed on Earth. But now you're telling us this thing could possibly be alive, or something is alive in it, because it just scanned us. And the question is, for the captain of this submarine, what in the world do you want us to do now? Now things are about to get even worse, and the reason why I say that, because remember, when it came to the Andromeda, the submarine, I'm having a hard time saying the Andromeda, but the Andromeda submarine, it basically came out of a boat that was named Esperanza, and the Esperanza is waiting for the submarine at the surface level. It's just floating there. But of course, out of nowhere, we begin to see these huge octopus arms just begin to attack the Esperanza, destroying and killing anything in its path. Now we are left to believe that this is the Kraken. Of course, the Kraken is one of those lovely Aquaman pets that hides out in the ocean, and it does damage anytime Aquaman needs its help. But in this universe, this Kraken seems to have no connection to Aquaman at all. And there is a good reason why I say that, and I will tell you here in a second. But the Kraken is just basically destroying the Esperanza ship, and that is a huge loss for the Andromeda, because that submarine came from that ship, and they were waiting for the submarine to come back up so they could leave this area and go back to their country. But the problem is now, with the main ship being gone, the Andromeda is kind of stuck. Now, of course, they could still just come back up and call for help, but that is when you have the captain explain that there is more things he has not told his team on the Andromeda that he should have told them before they got on this submarine. You have the captain explain to the team the reason why they can't go back up to the surface with the Esperanza being destroyed by the Kraken. And the reason why, because they are not supposed to be out there at all. They don't have any kind of military clearance at all to be out in the middle of the ocean to retrieve this item. And so that does bring up more questions on, then why in the world they here for? I mean, yes, they're here to get that alien technology, but if they have any clearance from the military at all, then why in the world are they out there? Because he tells them if they go back up, they're basically going to be captured or killed by any other country, because they're breaking international water laws. And if a boat comes by and sees them, bam, they are shot out of the ocean. Or worse, they are arrested and tortured. And so basically, they must continue on with their mission no matter what. And it's kind of like, dang, this team did not want to get on this boat thinking that their lives could be ruined if they go back to the surface to change their mind on continuing on this mission. But that is the moment you have somebody tell them there is something out in the middle of the ocean fighting against the Kraken. And that is why I said earlier, when it comes to Aquaman in this universe, the people don't know Aquaman. He's not very public, because you will realize if you're out in the middle of the ocean and there's some kind of sea monster attacking you or attacking something nearby you, and then some random being comes by and takes care of that sea monster, you would think it is Aquaman. But again, the people have no idea about Aquaman. It seems like he is not public to the world at all. Now, with that being said though, you do have Yvette say that it should be, or could be, the king of the waters, the king of the oceans, the king of Atlantis. Now, of course, this is her just saying some things, because it could be that her grandfather told her stories about how Atlantis is out there in the middle of the ocean, and on top of that, that apparently there's a king or queen of Atlantis. But either way, you do have Aquaman being able to take care of the Kraken, but at the same time, you have the people on the Andromeda kind of wondering what in the world is going on. Now, we do get this very weird flashback for Yvette, and this flashback is when the last time she saw her grandfather, that apparently Her grandfather and her parents were about to have dinner, and she looked out into the ocean and she saw her grandfather on his boat. And of course, she went out there to call him and tell him it's time for dinner. But the problem was he was not turning around. He seems like he was looking at something out in the ocean, and it was kind of controlling his mind or put him in some kind of trance. But either way though, right out of nowhere, her grandfather just disappeared. And of course, it freaked her out. And so she dove into the ocean to go save her grandfather, just in case he could possibly be drowning. But apparently when she got closer and closer to where he was, it got darker and darker. And that is the moment we kind of find out that maybe, just maybe, she did not save her grandfather at all. I mean, we do know that apparently he did die, but now it's kind of like, did he die because of this moment right here? Now, to close on this book, we actually do pick up with Yvette being woken up by one of the members of her team. So that flashback we just saw was her having that dream of that moment in life. But either way though, she is woken up because she just got word that the captain of the ship had just made his decision. Now to Yvette, she's thinking that the captain is just going to go ahead and call off the mission because of the Kraken being out there. Yes, Aquaman did kill the Kraken, but there could be other things out in the ocean that could possibly kill them. But of course, we kind of find out the captain's like, listen, I told y'all earlier that there is no way we can go back up to the surface, because if we do, we'll be shot out of the ocean or be arrested. So our only choice we have is to continue with the mission, get that alien tech, and hopefully when we get that alien tech, maybe, just maybe, we can use that to get out of our current situation, which is breaking international water laws. But the book ends on that right there, with Aquaman kind of wondering what is happening in the ocean, and on top of that, this team trying to get to that alien tech to hopefully learn more about it. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video.